With Haaland and KDB back from their injuries and playing for Man City, are they going to get a shot in my latest transfer plans for Game Week 23? Let's take a look at my latest team selection video. Just a really quick clip before we start with the goalkeeper and defence. I'm really trying to hit 1,000 followers on TikTok to unlock the ability to go live and give you deadline streams, match day streams and live watch-alongs for Premier League matches. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok yet, go in the description below and click the TikTok link and give me a little follow just to give me that boost I need to get to 1,000 followers. Much appreciated, guys. Let's get straight into things with the goalkeeper and defence. Of course, Dubravka is starting ahead of Areola with his great fixture run of Luton, Forest and Bournemouth. Of course, the home fixture of Luton this week. It is a slight bit worrying just the way Luton are playing at the moment, beating Brighton 4-0, which I'll speak a little bit more about in a second. But I feel as though Newcastle's form themselves has picked up and it should be a good game. I'm really looking forward to watching that one. Luton, hopefully Newcastle can keep them away from that counter-attack because they were really deadly against Brighton. But let's move on to a Brighton player himself. Estupinian, of course, really disappointing. It's the person I brought in last week. If you watched my previous video for Game Week 22, you'll know Estupinian was at the top of my list alongside Kyle Walker. Of course, I made the right decision going for Estupinian, Walker being benched in Man City's game. But did I really make the right decision? Because Estupinian literally got hardly any points at all, if not 0 points. I can't really remember. I haven't checked my FPL app because I was just so disappointed with Brighton, especially when I own João Pedro as well, which you will see in the last clip of the forwards. But overall, a few positives to take from the Brighton game. Estupinian was really high up, getting involved with some attacking plays, which, you know, we can kind of expect from Estupinian. But yeah, the result just didn't share, you know, the positive ideas I was getting from that game. But yeah, overall, a bit disappointing, but we can live with it because of Brighton's fixtures going forward are fantastic. They've got Palace, Spurs, Sheffield, Everton, Fulham, Forest. Yeah, it's just more of a stick and forget about Estupinian. He's going to play, hopefully, ahead of Lamptey. So, yeah, I can't really complain there. Pedro Porro, again, a little bit disappointing. Didn't get a return against Brentford. As far as I'm aware, I think he's been pushed off some of his set pieces because Maddison is back. So, yeah, he kind of drops in value as a player in my eyes. But we know Spurs are a quality side, but they are leaking goals at the moment. Maybe Pedro Porro makes way for someone else, especially when they blank in 26. Alex Moreno scored a fantastic goal in his last match, but sadly it was in his own net. Yeah, it's just awful stuff. They didn't play well either, which I've heard on Twitter. But not great from Alex Moreno. He's been hit and miss for me, so yeah, I don't know whether to keep him or whether or not. He's got a good fixture for maybe a few game weeks. Yeah, I think we just hold and just hope. There's other transfers that are more high priority at the moment, and I'm going to be targeting them, I'm afraid. Now, midfielders, this is where we get into De Bruyne. Where can we fit him in? Let's chat about it. So, Gordon, he has to be in the squad for the next few games. He has got fantastic fixtures over the next 5 games. Only Arsenal really in that mix who could pose them a real threat in my eyes. Palmer could be one of the people to leave the side. And Palmer's been a consistent player in my side for a while now. And it will be sad to see him go. But his fixtures just aren't great. He's got 2 good fixtures in the next 2 game weeks. And then goes on a awful set of fixtures with City, Brentford, Newcastle, and then Arsenal. Not great, and especially the way Chelsea are performing. It's a little bit disjointed at the moment. He could be the player that makes way. Foden got an assist in the City game. Seems like he's playing still quite good minutes. It's just a case of keeping an eye on his minutes at the moment, I feel like, because there's so much quality in that Man City side, and I feel as though Foden could be dropped at any minute, especially with Alvarez putting the performances he is into the game. It's more so, can he find a spot on the wings? Can he get ahead of Doku and Grealish? And can he get ahead of Bernardo Silva on the right? That's where I think Foden is at the moment. Good fixtures overall, got a double game week coming up. He's not going to be making way in the side, I don't think. I think it's a quality set of fixtures, especially with that double coming up. He will be staying. Saka, he's starting to perform his data now. We know he's got good data and he's had good data for a while. The fixtures are really a mixed bag. Some weeks you're going to get a good fixture, some weeks you're not. But we're dealing with an Arsenal team that is challenging for the title. And we've seen the passion after their last fixture when they conceded a silly goal at the end of the game. Zinchenko really upset, and I think it was Ben White had a little bit of an argument at the end of the game. They're striving for quality, and I feel as though Saka is really at the forefront of that. His data is fantastic. You've got, again, a mixed bag of fixtures. Hopefully he can perform some more like he has been recently, but yeah, I don't think he would be moving. If anyone was moving from my midfield, it would most likely be a Dinger on the bench. Of course, he is injured, but then the struggle of money comes into play. So it would have to probably be a Palmer or someone like that. Moving on to the forwards, and this is where Haaland comes into play. Probably the other player who's at a high priority for me at the moment, Erling Haaland. I feel as though his fitness, yes, he came on in that Man City game when they played Burnley last night, but is he going to be starting against Brentford away? My guess is probably not, but I feel as though he will get a large chunk of minutes if he does start. If he does start, I can see him coming off at maybe the 60th, 70th minute. And that is a lot of time on the pitch for Haaland, especially coming back from injury. But I really want to get him in before they play in their double. Maybe I could wait till next week, but I feel as though I might as well just do it. I think not a lot of people, I say not a lot of people, I've got Haaland. He is still really high owned at 55.7%, it says on my second monitor there. Yeah, I could just wait for the transfer, but I feel as though I'll be missing out if I don't get him in, because I feel as though he's going to get decent minutes, even if it is off the bench. Yeah, he could be the target to get in. It's just whether Haaland comes in for Watkins or Solanke. The reason I say that is because João Pedro, yes, he's on penalties and he's got great fixtures, but I just feel like his minutes have gotten a lot better recently. Yes, he came off in that 4-0 loss against Luton, but yeah, he went in for a silly challenge, give himself a little bit of a knock. I don't think it was anything serious, but yeah, he's flagged at the moment with a knock, but yeah, I was watching the game. Didn't look anything serious. He kind of had a kick out at one of their players and hurt himself in the process. Nothing major in my eyes, but great fixtures like Estupiñán, a set and forget player on penalties for a very attacking Brighton side. It screams goals, it screams attack and returns, whereas Solanke and Watkins, especially Watkins, disappointing me at the moment with the lack of his returns. I just think Solanke could be the one to make way with Watkins' fixtures being slightly better over the next four, only having really one difficult game in United at home. So yeah, that's who would make way. Probably Solanke. It could be the case that I just wait this one out and just roll the transfer, because at the end of the day, Haaland is not going to get a full 90 minutes. I just don't think it's realistic. I spoke about this on TikTok. I knew he wasn't going to start in the Burnley game. I gave you that information on TikTok, and it was, of course, true. And again, I don't see him starting. If he does start, he will come off a little bit earlier and not get the 90 minutes. I just don't think he's ready for that 90-minute game. But yeah, overall, De Bruyne and Haaland are the people I want to be bringing in. But is it really the time to do so? I'm not quite sure. That is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching to this point now. If you've enjoyed it, drop a like and a subscribe. And if you want to see me in a more short form content style, drop a follow on TikTok. The link is in the description below. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Oh.